And now, we'd like to feature...
Ladies and gentlemen, here we are again, back for your entertainment. We are the Red Hot Underdogs. I almost said dog unders or underdogs, whatever you want to call us, it's okay. I am Anzac, and with me tonight, always with me tonight, is the ever incredible, long contained, often imitated, but never duplicated. Please put your hands together, everybody. It is Tszyu.
Hey, how you going, buddy? Hello, everybody out there. Thank you for joining into the podcast that particularly caters to the shallow end of the gene pool.
Yes, very shallow, very shallow. Nothing complicated here. If you're listening in to have your intelligence justified or challenged, you won't find that here. There's nothing challenging here. No.
Absolutely not. Should we rip off the Band-Aid that is manly first off?
Yes.
Get the bad news over and done with.
Well, before your bad news, can we start with some good news? Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy
Beautiful.
Mother's Day to all the mums out there. We had a great Mother's Day. And you had a good Mother's Day?
Yeah, I got mine a bunch of flowers and a bucket of KFC.
That's good. Awesome. That's good.
Yeah. You're looking a bit thin. I wanted to put on a bit of bark, you know?
Yeah, like
good.
Like 24 pieces bucket of
yeah,
that's good. That's how it should
Excellent.
Be. Good on you, mate.
It is exactly how it should be.
Yeah.
But the Sea Eagles isn't how it should be.
No. What's happening there? Because, I mean, we've spoke a bit since the game. And are we overreacting in saying that that's it for Manly? Well, let's just recap. Or are we not overreacting? You know, Manly up 16-4 with 10 minutes to go. Is that right? I haven't watched it again. Usually I watch it again and for this podcast, but I can't bring myself to doing it, mate. Have you watched it again?
I couldn't bring myself to watch it again. Yeah, I explained last week, and I'll explain again this week. Once again, they have fucked up more leads than the FBI and the KGB. And let me just expand on that for a minute.
Expand.
I now have a medication plan for when I actually watch the Sea Eagles play.
Defibrillator?
So, no, in the 0 minute before the kickoff, I take a red pill.
Red pill?
The 40th minute mark, it's all for anxiety and trying to sort of alleviate it. 40th minute mark, a green pill.
Green pill.
75th minute, a yellow pill.
Yellow pill.
And if we win, a blue pill. And you all know what the blue pill is all about.
Oh, we know that, but that's the only one I know.
Unfortunately, I haven't been using the blue pill very often recently, and I don't think I'll be using it for a while because the way we're going, by the time I get to the blue pill, I reckon it would have dissolved into a powder like somebody's grandfather's ashes coming out of an urn.
Yep.
So it's a real worry the way we're blowing these leads, mate. 12 points up at one point, as you said.
Well, no, it was... I told you this story. I'm going to tell you again, or tell the listeners. It was 16-4, so 12 points up. I think there was 10 minutes to go. Okay, and I was at work, and so I'm at work chatting to Johan, Nem, and Sean. Shout out to those guys. And they said, "How's the footy?" And I said, 10 minutes to go to halftime. Manly's up 16. To 4, and I'm 20% confident. That was my words. I was 20% confident. In no way at all did I think would be losing going into halftime. No way.
Oh, I'm not surprised, to be honest. You know, and my missus gets annoyed at me because I shout at the TV a lot, but I've had to resort to wearing one of those dominatrix billiard balls in my mouth to alleviate the sound when I watch Manly play.
Fiction. Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, it's become a bit of a nightmare, and an ongoing saga now is Tom Trbojevic, done again with a hamstring.
Again, it's
out
just
for at least 8 weeks.
it's history repeats. That's what it is. And,
yeah, I mean, I'm starting to think that his hamstring might be made of silly string.
Yeah. I tell you.
It's a bit of a worry. I tell you what, if I was a mechanic and somebody brought Tommy Turbo into the mechanic workshop, and Tommy Turbo was a car.
Let's
he was, and he was a car.
The car. What
car
would he be? It'd be a turbo.
Oh,
like a
no. Well, people talk as if he'd be a Ferrari, but right now, I think figuratively and literally, he'd probably be a Daihatsu Charade.
Yep.
Because he's really not. He's not being what he says on the lid.
No.
But the problem is, fantastic player, awesome player. If I was the mechanic, I'd probably say, you know what? Take him to the wreckers, crush him up into a tight metallic cube, and he can be some gay art dealer's coffee table in Vaucluse.
Yeah. It'd be a good coffee
table. He would be an all right coffee table, because it's just not happening for him at the moment. Essentially, Manly are paying him hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to watch Netflix.
Yeah.
Because we're getting nothing out of him.
Yeah. And so, I mean, 8 weeks. What we're in, there's 25 weeks. So brings us up where at best there's 25 minus 18. That's 7. So 7 games at best at the end of the if you're lucky,
And that's what he's doing each year. Like he's done 2 previous years at some point of 7 games.
Yep.
So it's it's a real worry.
When he was gone after he himself in the first 10 seconds in Origin, just went to shit, right? It just it just went to shit. The wheels fell off. Is that going to happen again? Likely. And speaking of cars, Saab, I don't know.
It is. Speaking of cars, you're right. Done. AC injury.
Gone as well. Gone. So 2 of maybe our best players are gone. And we don't have that many good players.
It's a bit of a worry. I just look, Tommy Trbojevic for Manly is such a good player, and he's a necessary evil, but recently he's become unnecessarily evil because we never get him out on the field.
Yeah. And if you've got such a good player isn't out there playing, you're still paying for the cunt. Do you know what I mean? Like he's still taking dollars off someone else that's, like you're paying you that's out there on the field that should be paid more, like.
I just want the feeling of Manly to. I want the feeling of Manly to win again, so I can bust out another blue pill.
Well, we've got a few hard games. What's the next 3 games? Difficult.
Oh, it's terrible.
And more difficult. What are they?
It's terrible. We got Brisbane, Storm, and then Panthers.
Slow down. Brisbane in Brisbane.
Yeah.
The magic round. So there's no way there'll be any less than 50-something thousand, retarded Queenslanders up there screaming.
Yeah. And Brisbane, Melbourne Storm.
Where is that here?
And I would say that's down here.
Yep.
And then the Penrith Panthers away. So it doesn't get any easier for us.
No, that's probably the hardest.
The hardest. Next 3 games for any club.
Yep.
So anyway.
But is Origin within the next 3 games, or it's after then?
I think it's after those. I think so. Look, it is what it is. We'll get on to something else for everyone else listening, but for Manly, come on, guys.
Yeah. Are you being?
Have a win.
Are we being dramatic? is it all over for
No.
Man?
It's not all over, but what I will say is surrendering these big leads is a very real problem. No other side is doing it as consistently as Manly.
Yep.
And one other thing I'll finish on with Manly,
Mm.
it's not scoring points that's the problem, it's letting them in it. Our defence has been terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, one thing I do want to say, not about Manly, moving on from Manly. I know you don't like, I want to move on too. I know you don't like mentioning them, but I have to mention them because you can't ignore it right now. The Cronulla Sharks on top alone went down and beat the Storm 25-18.
Yeah. Yep.
So congratulations.
Are they the ones to beat? Are they the team to beat?
Well, they're turning into that right now, aren't they? Here's an interesting stat. They broke a winning streak of 14 games down there in Melbourne. Melbourne had won 14 straight home games and were going for their 15th before Cronulla smashed it.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so that was a huge win. It'll give them a whole heap of confidence. And out of any side, I think they're looking the best. And when I look at Melbourne and when I look at Cronulla and then I look at Manly, I see two elite teams in Melbourne and Cronulla that are just putting it all together in attack and defence and thinking, gee, Manly, you're a fair way off that standard.
Yeah, yep. It's next tier down, isn't it?
It is at the moment. For Cronulla, you've got to be stoked if you're one of their supporters. But as we touched on last week, the big test will be semi-finals because that has been their massive Achilles heel in the last couple of seasons. They've like won one of five or one of their last six semi-finals. So,
but, you know, the semis,
they've got the team to be successful. Sorry, you go.
Well, the way it's set up, if you finish on top, first or second, all the advantage falls your way. You get the home game, you know, you get the week off if you win that, you know, like the cards fall your way if you're and that's why so many teams that finish, you know, minor premiers or second will go through to get into that grand final because the cards fall that way. It's just a huge advantage. Yeah. You know, the home game.
I think, No, I think looking at Cronulla, I think now, looking at the way they're playing and how they're playing, I think anything less than a preliminary final this year for them would be disappointing. But anyway, I don't know if you want to talk about state of origin, but New South Wales.
Someone said to me, we said we'd move on from Manly, but someone said, who's a Roosters supporter, said, now Tommy won't play for New South Wales, and I just thought I couldn't give a fuck less, you know.
No.
And not playing for Manly, I don't think to myself, oh wow, Tommy's hurt and not fucking playing for State of Origin. Couldn't give two shits, you know.
Yeah.
Give two shits. Yeah. This is Manly fans it's affecting, you know.
Yeah, it is. It is. But mate, the New South Wales injury list is horrific. Queensland go into that Origin as massive favourites because and people are all falling down with hamstring injuries. Nathan Cleary's got a hamstring injury from the weekend.
Yep.
He'll miss 7 to 8 weeks. Travojevic is out.
Yep.
Hines had to pull out of the Cronulla Storm game. Moses isn't playing at the moment. No Gutherson. And certain South players that they relied on last year won't be there because South are going rubbish. People like Cody Walker, Latrell Mitchell and Cameron Murray. You know, like Walker, you can't put him in there because South are playing terrible. Mitchell is a long way off the pace. And Murray might be the only one you'd probably put in there from South. So, bloody, half of the New South Wales side are in cell block C of the Royal North Shore Hospital.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't want to hear any of this rubbish of New South Wales going in as favourites, because they're not.
No. All right. And what else? What other sports have you been watching?
I've been watching AFL.
Oh, before we go to AFL, just that funny signing with the rugby league. That link. The Honey Badger, or Nick Cummins, who is famous for reality TV, Bachelor and Get Me Out of Here. And, you know, he did stuff with like Tourism Australia, like bringing people to Australia. Like he is a celebrity. There's no doubt there. His, you know, you do get the C grade celebrities on the shitty, you know, get me
reality shows.
I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. But you know, those reality shows where
they're Dancing with the Stars, so on and so forth. I gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you know, he's famous from rugby union, and then got into reality TV, and now he is a dead set celebrity. He played for Australia in 2014 for rugby union.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's 10 years ago.
Yeah, he had a few limited caps for the Wallabies. He was a reasonable player. Like, obviously, you need to be if you're playing at the highest level for Australia. So you don't get to that level if you're a mug. What I will say is he's not. I wouldn't class him as completely elite, and he probably didn't totally fulfill his potential.
Because you're talking about then or now?
Oh, either. I look. Still an awesome player. You can't take that away from him. Like I say, you don't get to Wallabies if you're not. But I don't think he ever truly fulfilled his potential, because he did fall into that whole celebrity thing, whereby I don't think he always totally focused on his craft as being a rugby union player and now potentially a league player, as this story is being told.
Yeah.
So what was it that the Storm was signing him up for a few games or the rest of the season or something, was it?
Who knows? But it sounds like the Storm have done it just for the reason of just
publicity.
Yeah. Just it has happened in sport before, of course. Like I mentioned to you the other day about, you know, when Beckham was signed by LA Galaxy, like he was really past his prime, as the Honey Badger is, and they're like, you know, signed him up to this soccer team in America and earned millions of dollars selling just the jerseys with Beckham's name on the back. I know this is not that league.
No.
You know, he definitely is a celebrity. Like, people are going to talk about him like us, you know, and
do you know what the best thing he ever did, though? What I think is the best thing he ever did? He went on that Bachelor show.
Oh, yep.
And then at the end of the show, he went several weeks and chose none of the girls in the end. No one got him. They all copped a big loss. But listen, I know what you're saying. The publicity. I know this. Sorry.
He's funny. Funny. He's a funny
He is funny. He brings in publicity. He's charismatic. I know this is one of my favorite ad nauseum comments, but from here on out, I guess with this story, we can leave it here by saying, watch this space.
Yeah, watch this space.
Yeah. So do you want to go to AFL or what do you want to do?
Aussie rules. Hot Pies got up, won by a monster.
They did
today. So
103 to 37 over the West Coast Eagles.
Smashed them. No one was expecting that. Smashed them.
No. And now they move into the 8, so you'll be very pleased to know your team.
I thought they were in the 8 last week.
They might have been. I did check today and they were in the 8. They could have still been in the 8 last week.
Yeah.
All I do know is that my rainbow-coloured Sydney Swans, top of the league. 87 to 39 against the Fremantle Dockers. Yep. And the Cats lost for the second week in a row.
Oh, okay, yep. Does that mean...
I think they're in second.
Giants are second now or Cats are second?
No, I think Cats are still second.
Yeah.
But Essendon has moved into third. The Giants have gone from third to fifth because the Giants lost. I do believe. So, and unfortunately, the Kangaroos are still very much winless.
Undefeated.
So
imagine an all Sydney grand final in Melbourne.
I want it. I
Yeah.
want it really bad. I don't want it as much as a Manly win, but I want it.
Yeah, me too. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe,
It'd be great to get both.
tickets to it,
Oh,
won't
mate.
even sell out.
Right. You know what? The bar right now of expectation for me is so low. I would just settle for a good night's sleep right now. That's how quickly my life has descended with all of these losses and unfortunate situations. But yeah, that would be cool. I would love that grand final. Victorians wouldn't.
Yeah.
But
like
it's
more.
okay. Yeah, for Victorians, it would be like watching your parents have sex. You don't want to watch it, and it's awkward.
Yeah.
But for Sydney-siders, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all good.
Okay.
And the Kangaroos are still
about Aussie
winners.
rules, or that's it for Aussie?
Sorry? Oh, just the poor Kangaroos. Come on, just win a game. Get one.
Okay.
But yeah, and there are other sports going on. Next week's the big boxing.
Yes. We're going to come
Title
here in the grotto.
Yeah, absolutely.
What time? It's in well, just to repeat.
It's in Dubai. I'm gonna need to check. It's on the 19th over here.
Tyson Fury.
Yes.
Versus
Alexander Usyk.
And it's not in Europe, so it's not in England. It's
in
Saudi, not Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, United Arab Emirates.
Right. What's
yeah,
that?
it is.
Starts with an R.
I think it's in Riyadh.
Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting fight. Just
So
quickly before we.
Yeah. What time?
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to check that. I think it starts like 6 o'clock in the morning, but I think like the main walkout might be about 10 a.m.
Perfect. I like that.
I don't quote me on it, but I feel that anyone watching or you yourself might need to check the time difference, but that's what I feel it will be roughly.
I like a 10 a.m.
So,
we can toast, a nice cup of tea, and watch the boxing. It's going to be
It'll
great.
be good. And unfortunately today, just quickly before we get into that, Australian George Kambosos Jr. lost his title fight today to Vasily Lomachenko in the 11th round. Got dropped twice in the 11th. Doesn't matter. We lost that. He put up a good fight. Vasily Lomachenko is highly decorated, brilliant elite fighter. So no shame in that. We get a chance next week on the undercard of Fury and Usyk with Jai Opetaia fighting for a world championship against Maris Bradis. So hopefully he wins that one.
He's right before the main event. So it's the fight before the main event.
Yes. So all you Aussies, grab a bloody snag. Grab a Vegemite sandwich.
No, it'll be that'll probably be at 9 a.m. in the morning.
Doesn't matter. You're Australian. You've got to represent with the Aussie food. Doesn't matter what time of day it is or what time on the clock.
That's what it'll be. Bacon and egg roll. That's what it'll be.
If you want.
At 9 a.m. on a Sunday.
If you want.
Yeah.
But get behind him. Represent. Jai Opetaia. Absolutely sensational. Going to go for the Cruiserweight Championship. But
and the last time he fought was in the same country, same city.
In December.
Yeah.
He knocked out a UK fighter, Ellis Zorro, in the first round. And then before that, he fought another UK fighter called Jordan Thompson, knocked him out in the 4th round. So he's on a bit.
Well, or that was somewhere else.
That was somewhere else. But the last one was in Saudi Arabia. So he's on a bit of a tear.
Isn't it interesting? The money. Not interesting the money that the Saudis and the Arabs have, but the recent money that they're investing in boxing, in soccer, in golf. They're just packing it in. And
It's huge.
It's
It's
huge,
huge.
isn't
You know, the great thing is for boxing, because all these fights
it?
that we haven't had for years
Yep.
because of greedy promoters want to protect their fighter or get the most amount of money for their fighter, so on and so forth. The Saudis just gone up, bugger this. We've got all the cash. That's what the Saudi Arabians are going. We've got all the cash. We'll give all of the boxing supporters the fights.
Yep.
And the fighters can't hide because now it can be the best versus the best.
Yeah.
But the big daddy of them all, Tyson Fury versus Usyk,
Yep.
it will be a hell of a showdown.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm hoping Fury wins. Have you got someone you want to win in that?
I've just liked Fury ever since he turned up to a press fight, press conference dressed as Batman. I thought any legend to dress as Batman is, deserves to go to the very top. And I guess he has. And he is at the top, but also, Usyk's the next one, isn't it? Like this, they're both,
It
are they
is.
both undefeated, yes? Or there's a draw.
Both undefeated. Both undefeated. Oh, yeah, Fury's got a draw, but
That
both
doesn't matter.
undefeated because
Yeah.
a draw isn't a loss.
Yeah.
That Batman thing that he did several years ago.
Yep.
That was my second favourite Tyson Fury press conference moment in history. My favourite one was when he was fighting Vladimir Klitschko, and before he fought Klitschko, what did he say? He said, "I'm gonna lick that clit." And what did he do? He did it. He won. Yes. So that was my favourite.
He did it.
He did it. But you know what? Usyk is no joke. And in fact, Usyk has come in as favourite for this fight.
Yeah.
See, what people don't realise is Usyk won all of the belts in cruiserweight.
Yeah.
And he didn't just do it by beating one guy. So he did that to an extent in the heavyweight division by beating Joshua, who had all the belts except for the belt that Fury had. But in cruiserweight, he beat every single champion to get to each and every belt. And he beat them in their home city.
Yeah, wow.
So, mate, this guy he's swum rivers and climbed mountains to where he needs to get to and to where he has got to. So, huge amount of respect, massive showdown. And Fury is going to come in.
Personality though, is he? There's not much personality.
No.
And
no, he's very
more
stoic.
Personality than anyone right now there.
Yeah. Usyk is very much your Eastern Bloc guy with the personality of a plank of wood.
Well, like Klitschko.
He's what you would call...
Much in the Klitschko brothers too.
Very stoic. But, his English isn't great, but he can speak a little bit of English. It's a lot better than our Ukraine.
Yeah.
But by the same token, and people go, oh, he's got a big chance because he doesn't buy into Fury's mind games, which he doesn't. But guess what? In boxing, I reckon mind games are a load of fluff. I don't buy into them. I don't believe in them. This is what happens. You go, you do a training camp, you train as hard as you can, you get fit, and you try and execute the game plan on fight night and try and win the fight. I just think that mind games are a load of fluff. If you buy into the mind games or you're weakened by them, then you're probably in the wrong sport.
So next Sunday, this is on. Right, next Sunday. So the next podcast we do, we'll be talking about it.
Correct. I'm tipping Fury on points.
Okay.
Not really a popular tip from a lot of people after his after his narrow victory to Francis Ngannou. It may as well have been a loss because he scraped home with a win and found himself on the canvas in the third round against an MMA fighter. He eked out that win, and I think that was the worst thing that could have happened to Usyk because Fury went into that fight thinking, oh, collect a big bag of cash. I've got everyone telling me how great I am. I don't need to train. Came in a career heaviest, found himself on the canvas in the third round, and had to claw his way back in a struggle of a fight, and I think it's woken him up because I think he would have cut some corners and not trained to the best of his ability if it had have ended in disaster.
Usyk's hungrier, you reckon?
I think they're both hungry now. I think Fury's been spurred on by the enormous scare that he got and the fact people are writing him off after the last performance. And I think Usyk is enormously motivated by trying to become undisputed in 2 divisions, holding all of the belts in both the cruiserweight and heavyweight divisions would be absolutely massive. We haven't had this fighting for all the belts in the heavyweight division for over 20 years. I think it's like 23 years or something, not since Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis, yeah. I did read that.
Yes. So, it's a great fight. So
yeah, finally, it's
really looking forward to it.
stars aligned eventually, you know?
Yeah. So I kind of feel that Fury will use his size advantages, his physical advantages to his advantage. And I think that might be.
How tall is he? How tall?
Usyk is roughly 6'4" or 6'3", and Tyson Fury's 6'9".
Even
so
6'4" big, but it's not
6'4" is big.
9, you know?
Yeah, I think Usyk doesn't have many weaknesses. I'm going to say this. Technically, I think he's a better pure boxer with all of the skills than Fury. But there's not much in it. But I think the fact of Fury's size and the fact that Fury's only marginally inferior in the boxing skills, plus he's got the size, I think will be enough to win it. And I think he'll be spurred on by last time's rubbish performance. But I'm not going to be surprised if Usyk wins because the guy's a genius. So we'll see what happens. It's just a killer fight.
Do you reckon, if it's close, or?
If it's close, yes, they're signed in for a rematch.
Oh, already.
But if it's, I think so. And if
someone knocks the other opponent out of the park, then there'll be no rematch. However, if this goes to points, rematch, especially split decision.
Here's the spanner in the works. If Fury knocks out Usyk or wins very, very convincingly, you can then look for the Saudi Arabians to try and book Fury versus Anthony Joshua next year. They'll probably skip the rematch and look for that mega fight. Yeah, because everyone will be baying for it and it's been talked about.
People want Joshua, do they? But he I don't know. That's definitely not as desirable as an Usyk rematch, isn't it? Or
not necessarily because of all the Brits. It's the one fight that a lot of British people want to watch. And boxing over there in the UK is absolutely enormous. And the Fury versus Joshua fight will generate more money.
Wow.
It'll absolutely generate more money. But
what's happening with Joshua?
I'm just really stoked for this.
But he's been active, yeah?
Yeah, he's been active. So I'm not sure what he's going to do next. Although I think he's kind of hanging around in the wings. And I'm not sure if he's got a date with anyone yet to fight, but we'll see what happens. But this fight is the one that's sort of taking centre stage. And I think in some ways, Joshua Camp is sort of holding back, seeing if Fury can score a absolutely massive win as far as it being one-sided or a knockout. And if it's totally conclusive, I think that they might pounce on the possibility of having a mega fight. And I think it might be in the UK, but it might be, I think the Saudis will probably pounce on that like a bloody panther onto a lamb chop. So yeah, lots happening, but yeah, it'll be a great weekend of boxing.
Mate, we got less than a minute to go. So just to sum up, Manly's gone.
Yeah.
Possibly gone for the season, but we just need to find superstars out of Brooks or something needs to come from someone. Maybe Cherry Evans, maybe Brooks. I don't know. Maybe
Cross those fingers.
something. I don't know.
But you know what? Everyone is so inconsistent, win, loss, that if we just string a few wins together, we're back, baby.
Okay. And we got to focus on well, is it this Saturday against Brisbane?
Friday
night against Brisbane.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Got to be.
Yeah. And go. Yeah.
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 And
go Jai up a tire. Bring a belt back for
yeah. We've got to get behind him. Let's watch it tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Let's watch it on Sunday.